All right, Mike Baden's presentation on Washington's annexation of territory. Mike, let's switch the controls over to you, my friend. And I was teasing Mike a little bit earlier about a famous Geico commercial about what day is it. So here you go, Mike.
All right, let's see if we've got this.
Yep, it's like you got it controlled. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not seeing it move yet.
Wiggle the mouse, tap it on your screen, and there you go. Okay.
There we go. Hey, there we go. All right, that's right.
Yep.
All right, great. Well, thanks, Ray, and good morning, everyone. I'll echo what a lot of folks have said. We certainly wish we could all meet in person. But I'm still glad to be able to be here and just talk a little bit about the annexation of incorporated areas in our conservation districts here in Washington State. And I'm not sure where this issue stands in all of your states, if it's even an issue to bring cities and towns into the boundaries of conservation districts. But it kind of has been a deal here. We're still doing that. So I'm hoping today at least to give you a little bit of a high level view of what our process is for doing that in Washington. And also can talk a little bit about the advantages and the challenges that we've seen as we continue to do this work in our state as well. So a little bit about Washington. We currently have 45 conservation districts in 39 counties. So most of our districts are along county lines, but we do have a few counties where there's more than one district in the county, or a district may cross county lines and be impartial in another county, or whatever it is. A while back there were a lot more districts in the state, but through consolidation over time, we've gotten to the number we're at now, which is again 45. And when our districts were formed, this was not an uncommon thing to see in the formation documents for the conservation districts. I highlighted the area there for the Columbia Conservation District that said the district boundaries were all of Columbia County, excepting incorporated cities and towns. And again, that was pretty common when our districts were formed, that those incorporated areas were excluded from the district boundaries. And for quite a while after the formation of districts, in order to bring new territory into a district, whether it was incorporated area or unorganized area, that request had to be made by a certain percentage of voters in the area, and that for a long time was problematic when you were trying to bring in cities and towns into a district boundary. So in 1973, our statute was actually changed to provide a different way for incorporated cities and towns to become part of the district. And that is underlined in the text that's shown up there. And what it did in the new language was it allowed for the governing body of a city and the conservation district to petition the Conservation Commission for the city or town to become part of the district. So when that language was added back in '73, that became the process that the commission has used for the annexation process ever since then. And over time, even before this language was added, cities and towns had joined districts. But since then, we've had a number of cities and towns join the districts. And at least in my time, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've actually had quite a few in our state that have quite a few cities and towns that have petitioned for the inclusion into districts. And I think that count was about 15 or 16 different cities and towns, along with their conservation districts, petitioning to join the districts in various areas around the state. So we've actually had quite a bit of activity recently. So once a city or a town and the district petition the commission to join the district, it comes to the commission for action. We have, kind of an example up on the screen is the petition document, a sample of the petition document signed by both the board of the district and the governing body of the town. That is submitted to the commission. The commission will take action at their next meeting after that petition is received. And then it's forwarded from the commission on to our Secretary of State. And once that is approved and enacted by the Secretary of State, the Secretary of State sends out a certificate. to the district that makes it official at that time. So once that certificate is received, that city or town is officially inside the conservation district boundaries. And a little bit about the reasons why. There's a number of reasons why a city or a town in a district might want that city or town to join the district. And sometimes we run into the fact that when conversations start occurring between a city or a town, people have changed over time, and people may not even realize they're not in a district, that city or town is not in the district, as you know, or why are they not in the district? It may be a matter of just coming to a realization that they're not, and they might want to be in. And you know, sometimes that really opens up an educational opportunity for the district to share with the city leadership and folks in the city, you know, what the district is and what they do. Because, you know, in order for a district to be able to provide services to that city or town, they need to be part of the district boundaries. So once they become part of the district can actually just provide services. You know, along with that, you know, we see a need that, you know, conservation needs to occur everywhere in the state. Cities or towns need conservation just as much as the rural areas do. So, and those resources don't necessarily honor those city or town boundaries. So, you know, it allows the district and the cities to work together to address conservation needs and concerns on a more holistic approach, rather than having these artificial boundaries that are set up and get in the way. A big thing that we're talking about now, but it's been a big thing in the past, is just being able to provide services to a diverse community. And of course, having cities and towns in your district allows you to engage with a whole another aspect of the community that is it's not as easy to do when the city or town isn't part of the district. So it opens up opportunities to provide services and show benefit to a more diverse community as well. Another benefit that folks have seen, and this has proven to be true, is that it opens up access to more funding a lot of times when a city or town joins a district, and that can be opening up opportunities for urban grants, for contracted services with that city or town. We have districts that are providing services to cities and towns that through contracts with those cities, which has been a great partnership in many areas of our state. As well as it opens up more opportunities for a greater base for some of our local funding, like our rates and charges system, that is a parcel-based local funding option that we have in our state. Having more parcels in your district, you know, results in more funding if you have that system in place where parcels are charged a fee for conservation work. So, and also it just again provides districts an opportunity to provide more of their influence and their leadership into a broader cross section of their community as well. And they're just, the benefits go on and on and on. And we've seen in many of these places where the cities and towns have joined that those benefits are very much realized, and it's a really good thing. But that doesn't mean that we don't have challenges that come up as well. So of course, not every city and town in our state is part of their conservation district, and that is for any number of reasons as well. And one of the things that we run across, and many of you may well, is that folks just don't know who the district is. You know, when you start talking to a city councilor or city governing body, they're like, who's the district? They may not even realize the district exists, or if they do realize the district exists, oh, that's just that group that's out there working with the farmers. You know, they only work with farmers. They can only do things for agriculture. You know, there's no real reason for us to engage with them. And it takes some time and some education to overcome that hurdle. So, you know, they need to be able to, the district needs to be able to explain what they do. The city councils or the town councils and even the citizens of the city need to have a better understanding of what the district does really, and how they can even help. And I think through that process and the district working on that education aspect, they're able to show that they can provide benefit, and that there really is a real opportunity for partnership there. You know, there's a lot of different reasons. One of the biggest ones we've run into lately, or at least I have in a couple of my cities, is this question that comes up with the city councils when they're talking to the district, or the town councils when they're talking to districts, is, are my citizens going to be taxed if we join the district? And that is a legitimate question, because in these areas where districts have rates and charges enacted, or an assessment, or a property tax assessment, if a city joins, those parcels will now be subject to that tax. So there is concern on the behalf of city councils or town councils that, you know, they may be taxed. And without realizing the benefits that come to their jurisdiction through working with the districts for that nominal fee that comes along with that assessment or rates and charge, it can be a hard hurdle to overcome. And we ran into that in a real way a few years back when the Grant County Conservation District in Washington, here in Central Washington, was going for their rates and charges system. The county commissioners in our state are the ones who approve that system of rates and charges funding. When some of the cities caught wind that the county commissioners were favorable towards enacting that rates and charge, 4 of the 6 member cities of the conservation district, and please excuse the train in the background, 4 of the 6 member jurisdictions in the conservation district decided to withdraw from the district because they didn't, well, for a number of reasons. A lot of miseducation happened. Frankly, there was a common attorney that each of those cities had hired to be their city attorney that was working behind the scenes to cause problems. But they did not want that tax enacted in their cities, so they withdrew without really any real thought as to what they were losing when they withdrew from the conservation district, and that presented a challenge. But the district decided to move forward anyway, and it proved to be a very, very beneficial thing for many folks in the county and in the district boundaries. So we ran into that issue. Through time, though, if you I don't know if you can see the pointer, but the city of Moses Lake is the biggest city in the district, and a lot of their boundaries reside right on the banks of Moses Lake itself. And Moses Lake ran into some problems in that there were significant algal blooms, a lot of water quality problems in that lake, and much of the partners in the county came together around the lake came together to talk about how they could work to improve the lake, improve the water quality in the lake. And the conservation district rose to the top of that group as the one who could really pull everyone together and get things done. But a problem remained in that the city of Moses Lake withdrew from the district. So the district worked really, really, really hard over about a 3 or 4 year period to work with that city council, with the partners, with the citizens, to try to get back into the district. And there was a lot of disagreement going on. That attorney I mentioned before continued to cause a lot of problems. There were challenges to our actual statutory process for a city rejoining a district. But through a lot of work and through the district being able to show the benefit they could provide in a very real way in the water quality problems around Moses Lake, the city finally this last year voted in a not unanimous. It was not a unanimous decision to rejoin the district. So next year, the district will realize the revenues from that rates and charge in the city of Moses Lake and continue to move forward. And the district has really shown a lot of leadership and perseverance in that. So that's a really great thing. And they hope that the example they set with the city of Moses Lake will continue to carry with those other cities that have withdrawn, and hopefully they can get them back in as well. So that's most of what I would talk about our process for annexation. But since we're talking about boundaries, just a little bit about consolidation. Like I mentioned before, a lot of districts consolidated over time, and the consolidation discussion is still kind of going on in the background in our state. Although, at least at this time, no one can force districts to consolidate in our state. It may be the same in many of your areas as well. But the conversation comes up in many forums, whether it's about funding and why are we funding more than one district and county, concerns about relationships between districts, infighting, political pressure, all sorts of different things might come up when we talk about the consolidation of districts and why various folks around our state feel that districts should consolidate down to one district per county. The districts we have left that aren't consolidated are not very open to that discussion very often, especially if it comes from the commission. They are especially not open to that discussion. So we have to walk carefully with that, but we are here to help when that happens. We had, again, with the Grant County Conservation District that we just talked about, we had a very good example of how consolidation can really, really be of a benefit to an area, to the residents and the producers in an area. So, real briefly, back in 2012, county commissioners in Grant County were kind of putting pressure on the districts to, to tell them that they only really wanted to work with one district. It was too hard to work with 3 districts in the county, and they wouldn't entertain that rates and charges discussion until the districts started talking about consolidating. So in 2012, the commission started working with those 3 boards to talk about consolidation into one district. And it took, so they took what was at the time the Grant CD, which is kind of this area here, the Moses Lake CD and the Warden CD, and they consolidated into what today is the Grant County Conservation District, which is all of Grant County plus about 1/3 of Adams County, the neighboring Adams County as well. And where we hear a lot of pushback from districts in the consolidation talk with, oh, that's just going to take away our funding, or that's just going to remove our uniqueness or our ability to govern based on various differences in our geographical areas, or we're just unique and it's going to take away our voice. We hear all those arguments against consolidation, and some of them are valid, some of them aren't. We don't feel are quite as valid, but what they've seen in Grant County, at least, is that by consolidating, they've been able to bring in a lot of funding. They've been able to coordinate a heck of a lot better with their producers, with their partners. They've been able to get the rates and charges. They've been able to just make a program that really had gone from struggling, competitive between each other, hard to coordinate when they were 3 different districts, to now just a rockin' district that is just doing amazing things out there in their area. So at least in this instance, it's proved the opposite of what the various objections we run into when talking about consolidation have proven to be true. So again, just a real district that's really there, and it's really set a really good example for other districts in our state that are talking about consolidation, especially as funding continues to become more and more of an issue. I think I'll stop there.